Hello and welcome to Unit 1 of Business Law. In this video, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the unit. It's really important that you watch this video so that you can get a better understanding of how the unit is structured, and it's going to give you a little bit of a background, okay? First, let's make this disclaimer. You are probably going to be frustrated at some time, and it's okay. It's expected. But I promise you, although things may seem a little bit fuzzy or complex at first, you will learn that there is a lot of reincorporating in different concepts and theories as we go through the unit. And by the end of the unit, you'll have it mastered. Now, there are 4 chapters. The last chapter is kind of a standalone chapter, I call it. It's Business Ethics, Corporate Social Responsibility. That is a pretty straightforward, easy chapter. There are some concepts that you will need to know, but I do think you'll find it interesting because you'll also watch some videos and some lectures on some famous white-collar criminals, which is always my favorite. So, the other 3 units kind of seem like they're scattered and they're random, but they actually have a common theme. And the common theme is the Constitution. So this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to take a minute to think, actually 5 seconds to think, okay? I don't want you to have a deep thinking. I want you to just kind of think to what comes to mind right away. Okay, ready? What comes to mind right away when I say Constitution? Okay, you probably have a variety of answers. Some of you may not have really any kind of feeling about the Constitution, so you're thinking, okay, separation of powers, federalism, things that maybe you learned in your civics course. Some of you may have more of a passionate feeling about, it's a representation of the United States and what we stand for. And then there may be those of you that are like, yes, I said that. And this is an antiquated piece of paper that has no relevance today. But I promise you, I am going to prove that theory wrong. The Constitution is the most relevant document in law. And that's just not something because this is what we stand on, it's our principle. It is what we use today in our court system. And so you're going to have that theory as you go through. Now, chapter 1 is going to talk about the brief things of, you know, separation of powers and sovereignty and things of that nature. You need to know everything that's highlighted in your book when you go through it. But what I want you to know is the big 3. Okay? The big 3 for Constitution is it empowers government, it limits government, and anything that is contrary to the Constitution, any law that's contrary to Constitution is void. Never existed. That's what void means. Okay. And we're going to see this theme as you go through all of the lectures and the material. So this is something that you want to keep in mind is the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. That is where the government gets its power. That is what restricts the government on our personal rights. And that anything contrary to it is void. Never good from the start, right? So in chapter 1, we are going to discuss some legal principles and some authorities. And then we're going to go to chapter 2, which is going to have the resolution of private disputes and how the court system and how that works. Chapter 3 is going to actually cover business in the Constitution. So you're going to see kind of this overlap as we explain the law and how the Constitution works. The most important thing that you can do is your video quiz assignment first that has to do with the Constitution, a more perfect union. This is going to be the longest video quiz you have. I promise, I promise, I promise. Your other video quizzes will be a lot more short and to the point, okay? Remember, as you go through your modules, you need to go through them in order because they will make more sense. So, chapter 1, you need to read the nature of law. You need to do your connect. Then you do the video. Then you go to the lectures. because the lectures will refer to the video. And if you haven't read the video or looked at the video, then you're not going to get anything out. The only exception to out of order is some people like to do the Connect chapters after everything else, and that's okay. It's more for them a review and they can understand the material better. I'm okay with that. You don't necessarily have to have the book chapter before, but you do need to keep in line with the other material. We are going to be having a discussion. And what you need to remember is what I told you in the first video, is that this is a class. So you need to be touching this class at least twice a week. So set down a time at least once a week for 50 minutes 3 times a week, or you could do an hour and 15 minutes 2 times a week, that you're going to focus just on your lectures and your discussion groups. Your lectures won't take that long, and then you can really get in and do some good discussing on your discussion groups. I look forward to hearing what you all have to say, and if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to contact me.